everyone, it's your girl Trinice from American Idol, and I am encouraging you to tune into the Michael Finkley Show on Roku TV and YouTube.
Cause I've been working all my life just to make it, just to make it, just to make it. I've been working all my life just to make it, just to make it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Thank you for joining us today. So take a listen at these statistics of pregnancy from the womenhealth.gov website. It says out of 100 pregnancies, between 10 and 15% of women miscarriage. Between the years of 2014 and 2018, there was an increase, a 16% increase of women having complications while being pregnant. Shocking, right? Shocking. And it's just amazing to hear these statistics and what women actually go through. So our guests today, they talk about their stories of survival during pregnancy, during the process of pregnancy. Some may have had complications, miscarriages, or even when the doctor told them that they could not have kids. But I tell you, they overcame and God blessed tremendously. So don't you go away. We'll be right back. Coming up, we have Rhonda Sherman. We'll be right back. On the next Michael Finkley,
Shawnee Scott and Chaz Jackson are with us.
next Finkley.
Friday.
She is flexible and she is a multitasker. She is a wife, a mom. She is city councilwoman.
When I was growing up, Mom worked outside the house, and so my dad was an entrepreneur. I saw him leaving early in the morning or late at nights to go meet with clients, and he was always one who told me, if you show up on time, you're late.
I just admire how she's able to not only juggle the demands of her jobs, but keep her family really first.
The outstanding thing about the Isaac family is their noble contributions to improving the quality of life for our Colombians and people all over this state.
I, Tamika Isaac, do solemnly swear.
Discharge the duties thereof, so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and best
I first ran because I saw a need, I saw a void that needed to be filled, a voice that wasn't there. And over the last several years, I feel like I've been able to be that voice.
So often as women in whatever spaces that we're in, we're often discounted because we're a mom or we're a wife or we have this career, and she's an everyday woman who shows women what excellence looks like.
She has walked the walk of being a small business person, of being a parent, of sending her kids to school.
Columbia is a great place, and we have done a lot in the last few years as far as law enforcement. But law enforcement can't do everything, nor should it do everything. We have to really expand upon the tools, technology, and community policing, investing in our communities so that law enforcement is a partner with our communities. Being a Columbia native, I've seen the way this city has grown. It's grown to the point that sometimes not everybody's been a part of that growth. I want to make sure that communities, specifically communities of color, make sure that they are part of Columbia's present and its future. I want to have a climate plan for this city that not only helps us be sustainable, but also helps provide opportunities for folks in the workforce. There are so many opportunities to take advantage of technology, green energy. I want to be the advocate for growing our city and being on the forefront, not just looking at what other cities are doing and following them, but being the leader.
If you don't have the right leadership, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities.
I think having a woman as mayor of the city of Columbia is long overdue.
I'm Tamika Isaac Devine, and I'm running for mayor of the city of Columbia.
Looking for a mentoring program for your young male between the age of 6 and 18 in Columbia, South Carolina? Well, look no further. Big Homie, Little Homie Mentoring Program is the program for you.
Under the leadership of Mr. Jamal Stroud, Big Homie Little Homie is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that caters and mentors at-risk youth that come from single-parent homes. The organization caters to young males between the ages of 6 and 18 within the greater Columbia area. The organization is devoted to shaping and molding their life into great men of society. Big Homie Little Homie organizes male gatherings, discussions, and even educational assistance devoted to guiding and leading them into a positive light. Making a positive attitude will help in transforming their life regardless of what is experienced in life. For more information on Big Homie Little Homie Mentoring Program, visit our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Our next guest in my book is a hero in her own right. She is a good friend of mine as well. Here is Rhonda Sherman. Rhonda, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And so Rhonda, as you were growing up, little girl, you're seeing things, you're experiencing things. Did you always see yourself as a mother in your adult life?
Actually, no. My plan was to get a degree, travel the world, stay as single as possible for as long as possible. But God had other plans and I complied.
Gotcha. And so as life continued, you got married, and what was that conversation like in having, let's have a child? What was that like with your husband?
Once I met Nick and we decided that we were serious about each other and serious about making that commitment for marriage, the talks about having a family started at that point. And then once we got married, I decided that, okay, I would like to carry my legacy on, and I'm sure that Nick would too. So we started having that conversation, and that's where we decided, okay, maybe we should go ahead and have kids.
Mm-hmm. And so when you went to the doctor, you started having these conversations with him. What was that like, and what kind of information did you receive from him?
Well, I actually found out early on in my college years that I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I found out then and wasn't too concerned about having kids until, of course, like I said, we got married. And that's when I decided to have that conversation with my OBGYN and give them what the wish was or the expectation was, and they gave me what to expect with the syndrome, the condition. And the advice that I got was to eat healthy, plan with the expectation that things will go right, but expect that it will take longer or not happen at all with the process with trying to conceive.
Gotcha.
Of course, it was jarring. It was sobering because when you're younger, you think, well, even if I have this, I'm not worried about it. I can still do what needs to be done to have a child. But the reality was that the condition is a whole lot more harsh and a whole lot more damaging than people think it is. So the doctor basically, besides telling me to eat right and eat as healthy as possible, to stay away from sugars. And unfortunately, I'm a sugar addict. And exercise, of course, which any healthy human you would want to exercise. and that my other options, if we tried to conceive and couldn't, that we could do in vitro.
Okay.
And that process is very expensive. And for someone just starting out with not the best health insurance plan, and there were some jobs I had leading up to that didn't have any health insurance, that's not something that we could see doing on a teacher salary and an accounting assistant salary.
Right.
So we took the natural route and tried to conceive with me eating healthy and exercising, and it just did not happen.
Right. How old were you during this time?
We started, let me see, I got married at 25.
Mm-hmm.
So we started immediately. And that process, we tried until I was 26, 27. Okay. So almost 2 years, and saw that it wasn't going to happen. And we were okay with that because we were newlyweds and just starting out. Right. So it was fine. So yeah, it was about 2 years.
Okay. Gotcha. And so the doctor gave you instructions. Did doctor give instructions for Nick?
No. Funny you mentioned that because when we first tried to conceive and we couldn't, the OBGYN also suggested that we get him tested. Mm-hmm. And he obliged and went through and got the testing done. And we found out that everything with him was very healthy. Okay. And his count was very high. So the probability of him being a cause also was removed from the picture.
Gotcha. So during this time of trying to conceive, were there any type of miscarriages or anything, or?
No, there were no miscarriages, but the battle that I had was there are often times when women who have PCOS, they will tell them to get on metformin and birth control pills. The birth control pills will regulate your cycles, and the metformin will decrease what is called androgen. Okay. And women who have PCOS have higher amounts of androgen in them. And androgen is basically a component that you see more in males. Okay. So women with PCOS have a higher amount of that, and it causes the ovulation to lessen or not happen at all. Wow. So they use metformin to help with the insulin resistance and to also help to shrink the androgen in women. Mm-hmm. The side effects that I had with both of those were very unfortunate. There was a lot of pelvic pain, mood swings, mm-hmm. And a lot of blood clotting with both. Wow. And weight gain on top of the weight gain that is already caused by PCOS. Mm-hmm. There was a point in my life where my maximum weight was probably about 248 pounds. Wow. And sometimes you can do what you're supposed to with eating healthy, and you will still gain weight, especially in the abdomen area, mm-hmm. Because of the insulin resistance. So a lot of it, the things that I had to deal with were medicine related, because doctors sometimes they don't know what the cause of PCOS is, so they can only treat the symptoms surrounding it. And sometimes treating the symptoms surrounding it can make matters worse.
Gotcha. And going through this and trying to conceive, what was the emotional factor like for you and your husband?
Definitely frustrating. Mm-hmm. And then personally for me, it boiled down to, I want to give my husband something special. Right. And I want to make sure that having this child will create a bond for not only for the baby and us, but help me and my husband to grow stronger. Right. And the fact that I could not give that to him or give that to my family, it definitely weighed heavily on me. The other emotional things that you go through is sometimes you don't feel adequate. You don't feel like a woman. And I know that may sound very old-fashioned and narcissistic, but it's true. You don't feel like a woman, because here I am, the person that's supposed to bring life into the world, and I can't. So it definitely takes a heavy emotional toll on you. And then having people to constantly ask you, well, when are you going to have kids? Well, what are y'all waiting on to have some babies? And you want to tell them the whole situation, but it takes too much time. And some people just won't understand. So you kind of have to either laugh it off and then cry later, or cut the conversation off so that you can keep from hurting people's feelings. Because I've come very close to that line of hurting people's feelings, because you get tired of hearing it.
Yo, I know her. Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
It definitely takes a mental and very, very sociological toll on your mind.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I gotcha. But the morning came. The night was there, but the morning came. Tell us about the news that that changed you all's day, and finding out that I'm pregnant.
Okay, so this will be the second time around for us, as you know. The first time, of course, it happened when we stopped trying.
Right.
So the excitement was there, but the second time was even more special, because there is a 12-year gap in between our kids.
Right.
So this new baby that we have been praying for and hoping for, we had an anniversary last year on April the 16th. Leading up to our anniversary, I had not been feeling well.
Right.
And I chalked it up to me being on the back porch. It's pollen season. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's why I've ingested too much pollen. So let me just go and get some allergy medicine. Well, some other things started happening, and I still didn't think anything of it, because again, we weren't expecting, for me to be pregnant. So on our anniversary, my husband went out to get us lunch because, of course, everybody's in quarantine. And I said, you know what? I made this doctor's appointment to find out what's going on with me, to get some stronger medicine for whatever's going on. Go ahead and get a pregnancy test. Let's take it, because I'm a cheapskate. I did not want the doctor's office charging me $35, $40 for a pregnancy test when I knew I was not pregnant. Right. You could not tell me I was pregnant. So I took the test and left it in the bathroom upstairs. We both went back on our computers respectively to work. And I said, oh, I forgot. Let me go check the test right quick. Check the test, and it was positive.
Like, what the word?
Right. So I came out the bathroom and I did one of these numbers to Nick. And he came in the bathroom, and we both stood there with our hands on our hips, looking at the test like, this can't be. This must be a fluke. It has to be wrong. Luckily, the test that he bought, it had two in the pack, one analog, one digital.
Okay.
So I did the digital one. And so he said, well, maybe let's just take the second one and let's just make sure, because it could be old. It could have been on the shelf in the drugstore for a long time. We don't know. Took the analog test, and before I could even walk out of the bathroom, it said positive. So I turned to my husband and I said, happy anniversary.
From me to you.
Right. So there was a lot of excitement.
Amazing.
Reality set in that we're 41 and 42, and our oldest is 12 years old. But this was the blessing that we prayed for. But leading up, the ironic thing about it was, leading up to that, some years ago, after we found out we could not conceive again, we decided that adoption would be a good way to go. Why not give a child a good home? And we wanted another child. And it didn't matter what the age was. So I consulted with a friend years ago, and she told me what the process looked like. And it definitely was not all pretty, but it was something that we were willing to go through. And I had a cousin who just adopted a lovely, lovely 12-year-old boy. And, you know, I knew that I had his support in doing it if we decided to do it. So we bought a new house, and we said, okay, well, things are back even keeled now. So let's go ahead and put adoption back on the table. We're established, we're making a little bit more money, and Xander is 12, so he's pretty much self-sufficient. Let's go ahead and put adoption back on the table. And that was 2 weeks prior to us finding out that we were pregnant.
Wow.
2 weeks to the day. So it was sort of a, okay, God, I get you. And I think that he was telling us, that's great that you want to adopt, but this is what I had planned for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. What was the likelihood of you getting pregnant? The doctors told you of you getting pregnant between your son and your daughter.
I actually had an OBGYN, my OBGYN with my first son tell me to go ahead and give it up. I remember that day very clearly. I had an appointment that day, and I was supposed to go to work after that appointment. She broke my heart so bad, I could not go to work. I went home and I cried. And Rhonda does not cry, especially in the first.
Rhonda don't cry.
So yeah, so it was a slim to none chance. And she said, let's get you focused on getting you healthy. You need to go ahead and hang that up.
Wow. And so what's life like now with 2 miracle children?
It's absolutely wonderful. It's a madhouse in here sometimes, but we make it work. It's definitely, I count each day as a blessing, because I know that both of them were given to me, hand delivered by God. Yeah. So I just know that with them in the house, no matter how crazy they'll drive me, I know that they are a blessing in it, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah. I love that. Future plans, any more?
If it happens before I start walking with the cane, it happens. But I welcome it. I don't see any problems with having more. My husband may say differently. He may lose a couple of locks, but if it happens, it happens.
Right, definitely. That is amazing. And like I said in the beginning, you are a hero to persons that may be ashamed to tell their story of their pregnancies, but I tell you, you are saving lives like no other. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for telling your story.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Next, we have Sabrina Green. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? I'm Leon Frierson, former cast member from Nickelodeon's All That and co-host of the Prime Nostalgia podcast. And I'm here to ask you to join me in watching the Michael Finkley Show weekly on YouTube. Now, I've been on the show, so I definitely know it's a platform where you'll be educated, informed, and inspired. Now, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on YouTube.
I'm just not college material. I am tired of school. I'm just not sure what I want to do after graduation. Sound familiar? Welcome to the Prelo Educational Institute. Our focus is to help young people prepare for life after high school. It's never too early to start planting the seed for education, career, and life overall. The Prelo Educational Institute is made up of the following 2 products: The first product is the book titled I Ain't Going to College, A Guide for Life After High School. This is the first book of a series that introduces middle and high school students to a young man struggling to find his way and make the decision about whether attending college is the right choice for him or not. The book has questions inside, and a supplemental curriculum can also be purchased. The newest product from the Prelo Educational Institute is our online course titled Preparing for Life After High School. In this course, students will learn about decision-making, self-confidence, accountability, self-awareness, and many other topics that speak to social-emotional learning. Young people will read a story about a young man who never gave up no matter what the circumstances were. The course is interactive and has questions, quizzes, and video. Do not wait until your child or student is a senior in high school to start planning. Enroll today. To enroll and learn more, please visit www.speakerauthormarlowe.com.
Need a little motivation?
Timothy Clifton is with us every week on Mondays to get your week started with a little motivation, all here on The Michael Finkley Show.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Our next guest is, again, another hero in my eyes because she has overcome so much, but she does it with a smile on her face. Introducing Sabrina Green. Sabrina, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Y'all, she's my new best friend. She don't even know it yet, but she's my new best friend. We had a lot of talking before we started, but it's been amazing to get to know her that much more. So, Sabrina, when you were growing up within the household, within your parents or guardians, did you know or did you have a feel that you wanted to be a mother yourself?
Well, I knew one day I wanted to be a mother. However, I was such a daddy's girl. You know, I admired everything that my mother did for us in rearing us and just nurturing us as a mother. But I was such a big daddy's girl. Right. There's 6 of us. Okay. And I'm the only girl and the baby. So.
Wow. You were spoiled, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I didn't take advantage of it. Yeah. As the only girl of all of us. Yeah. I really didn't take a whole lot of advantage of it. Should have, when I think back about it.
You still can. I love it. And so as time went on, you began a family of your own. You got married. Did you have a conversation with Chris right away that you all wanted to have kids?
Well, we had a conversation. However, we were so busy. We loved to travel, entertain. When we first got married, kids were really, really not a part of our goal at the time. Right. But, you know, we did discuss. However, we were so in tune to our everyday life with traveling and just loving on other people's kids. It was really not a major thing at first.
Gotcha. And so how far along in your marriage did that actually dawn on you? Kids, maybe.
Well, as age started to progress, I'm like, okay, we ain't getting no younger. We're traveling, we're enjoying it, but we're getting older with that as well. So it's like, maybe, you know, that's something we need to talk about and think about. And we did. Okay. And at that point, it was like, well, if it happens, it happens. But, you know, we really wasn't, you know, planning. But like I said, if it happened, it happened. So we did have those few conversations.
Gotcha. And so as time went on even more within your marriage, complications or the aspect of not maybe having kids from what the doctor said, how were those thoughts and feelings?
Actually, those thoughts and feelings, you know, like I said, as I was getting older, you know, I know with the age, you know, a lot of women begin to become high risk when it comes to pregnancy. And believe it or not, I was actually 4 months when I found out that I was pregnant. And the ironic thing about that, I was having a toothache. Wow. So I went to my dentist. I mean, and it started out 1 week, you know, it was just a little nag here. It's like, I know I have a cavity, I don't think. So it started to progress. So I went to the dentist. He evaluated my mouth, did some little x-rays and things. Then he came back with a prescription. And I was like, okay, what is this? He was like, go get a pregnancy test. I'm giving you a prescription to get a pregnancy test. And I'm like, excuse me? You know,
what you talking
what
about?
do you mean? He was like, right. So he was like, go get a pregnancy test and call me back after. So I proceeded to do that, took the pregnancy test, and lo and behold, I was pregnant. And again, I was 4 months at the time.
You were four
So I
months
wasn't sure.
in,
Yeah, I
and
wasn't
you didn't know.
Yeah, did not even know because
wow.
I was so, I mean, I was constantly doing stuff, you know, in pretty good shape. So I didn't have a belly, anything. Everything was the same. So took the pregnancy test, called him back, pregnant. Of course, I had to go and find a doctor, which I did. They were really, really concerned because I was 4 months at my age. So that was a big concerning factor for them. So they did what they needed to do, but they recommended me to another doctor, which was in Columbia, South Carolina, that specialized in women of, you know, my age and that would be potentially high risk.
Wow.
So that's how it pretty much started.
Wow. Wow. So were you and Chris trying to have a
We
child
were
at that time?
not. We were not. I told him about it and you wouldn't believe his reaction. His reaction was like, what are we going to do? I'm like, what do you mean? What are we going to do?
It's coming down.
Right. 4 months. What are we going to do? So I immediately called my mom because I'm like, okay, you're not helping me here. I called my mom and I did. And we talked things out. And from there, I, you know, did what I had to do. I, you know, like I said, talked to the doctors, took plenty of tests. A lot of tests kind of took place further on in my 5th month. And then my 6th month is when I started having complications.
Okay.
Went to a doctor's visit, and during that doctor's visit, you know, you could tell the reaction of the doctors after that visit, you know, with taking tests or whatever. And it was, you know, something that looked right. They didn't tell me right away. You know, they kind of walked out the room and I guess consult with other doctors and came back and they told me that they wanted me to go home, pack a bag, and come back to the hospital. So my emotions there, I didn't know what to think. And I say that because some years prior, I was sort of in the same situation. And we lost a child. Okay. So, you know, I didn't know what to think. You know, only thing I think of, you know, I waited so long to find out. Well, it wasn't my fault, but, you know, we waited so long to find out, you know, with different prenatal cares that we didn't do in advance. You know, I didn't know what to think. So, and then the doctors came back and said, no, we don't want you to go home. We're going to admit you now. And I was like, no, I got to go home for a minute.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked and they were like, well, you look like you're a responsible young lady. So we're going to allow you to go home and come back. Right. So just call us when you're on your way back and, you know, we'll go from there. So I did.
Gotcha. And so how old were you at that time of your first pregnancy?
My first pregnancy, I was 30, maybe 30, I think.
Okay.
I was in early 30s, late 20s.
Early 30s. Okay.
Like
So time went on. Did they give you a percentage of I can get pregnant again, or they advised you not to do it or to do it? Well, what was that advice from the doctor?
Well, the advisement was pretty much, you know, you can, but of course you will fall in the high risk category.
Right.
So, you know, keep that in mind as you're thinking about trying to conceive again.
Right.
you know.
Right.
But like I said, we wasn't planning, things just kind of happened.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So the second time around,
Mhm.
were you all planning or did it just happen again?
It happened again.
Okay.
We weren't planning it. It happened again. Because like I said, we were in shock because the dentist informed us. Because like I said, nothing was going on different with me. So
Mhm.
I had no idea.
Right. Wow. And
Yeah.
as time went on with your second pregnancy, were there any other complications or was it just kind of smooth sailing?
No, it was a lot of complications. During my 6 months, I was tested. They said that my baby to be would have had spinal bifida, tested
Wow.
99% spinal bifida, as well as Down syndrome.
Wow.
So I think it was June 2nd. I think it was June 2nd, June 8th, somewhere
Mhm.
around that time. I was admitted into the hospital.
Mhm.
I was there from the 1st of June to June 20th being monitored. Um, to June 19th being monitored. On June 20th, that morning, they came in about maybe 6 a.m. and said, hey, we're going to take you up for immediate delivery. But I was 6 months at the time
Mhm.
because they seen that the baby was at distress, and that the umbilical cord wasn't doing what it was supposed to do as providing nourishment to the baby. So they felt that the baby would have a better survival rate if she was out the womb.
Okay.
So I delivered at 6 months.
Wow.
C-section. She was only 1 pound 6 ounces at the time. Yes, it was devastating. But they the doctors talked to me, and we pretty much listened and you know things of that nature. So I felt a little at ease because they were keeping me informed with my body as well as what was going on with the baby. So,
Right.
and I pretty much wanted what was best for the baby.
Right.
So like I said, I delivered, well, not delivered, had a C-section at 6 months.
Wow. And during that time, what was your support circle look like during that time?
Well, I had a tremendous support system, not well system, family, friends, my
Yeah.
friends, near and far, my mother, my husband at the time, his mother, father. I had a major support system, and I think that played a major part with me mentally.
Mhm.
Just being able to talk to someone, having someone there at all times, someone checking up on me at all times, it really, really helped. Because after I delivered, I actually stayed in the hospital myself for a period of time
Okay.
before I was even allowed to go home. And of course, the baby did too. They
Mhm.
actually wanted me to stay in one of the Ronald McDonald's homes, but at the time, I decided not to. I would just commute back and forth every day. Um, the baby didn't even come home. She didn't come home until November. She was there from
Wow.
June to November.
Wow.
But I will say the blessing in that she was not a Down syndrome, and she does not have spinal bifida. You can see the little area in her back,
Mhm.
but it closed up tremendously. And then she had a hole in her heart as well when she was born, but that closed up too. I give God, all the glory and the praise, because I just know it was Him. The
Right.
doctor said one thing, but then she came down another way, and I just know it's from, prayers and
That's it. That's it.
all of that, and God in Himself. Yeah.
Yes, because we were believe the report of the Lord. That's
Absolutely,
what.
absolutely. And I stay positive. I have a
Mhm.
positive husband. My mom, is a
Oh,
praying woman. His mother and his father, and we're just a loving, godly, giving family. So we you know, hey, doctor said this, but we know who sits on the throne and rules
Exactly.
among us all. So I'm so grateful for that.
Amazing. And she's how old today?
She is 4 years old today.
Oh wow. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Any more
Yeah.
thoughts of having more children or even adopting?
Adopting, we have, it's funny you asked that. We just talking about that maybe a couple days ago, that we're looking into adopting just to give somebody else that that love and support that we give Harper. And she's such a loving little girl, and she would do the same. So that is an option for us. We've been talking about it, and hopefully we're gonna hit the ground running to get that started soon. But yeah, that is a route that we are planning on and thinking about taking.
I love it. I love that. What advice would you give to others that may be going through the same as you?
Three things I would say. Listen to your doctors. Have that support system, that one person or that family member, that friend that you can talk to. Because I know that's what helped me tremendously. Just having an outlet somewhere else so you can relieve that stress from you and the baby.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize that, you know, you're internalizing things and it stresses you. You may not think it is, but it really is.
Yeah.
So, you know, open up and ask questions. Always ask questions. When you're in doubt, ask. Even if it's the same question, ask it. You know, you have doctors who are talking to you, nurses who are talking to you. And of course, some of them talk that lame language that we don't understand because we're not medical.
Right.
So ask them to, can you explain that a little better so I can understand outside of all that terminology? You know, they will. And I've did it. My husband did it. My in-laws did it, you know, because they wanted to know. But we wanted to know on the level where we can understand.
Exactly.
And last but not least, which should have been on top of my list, reading your scriptures, reading positive affirmations,
right?
Just get in that relationship. And it may not be God for some people, whoever that higher being is for you or for that individual, get connected. Because that helped me a whole lot. There were many times when it was just me and no one to talk to.
Yeah.
But I know I could confide in Jesus and God, who I believe.
Amen.
So those are some of the things that I would recommend to any lady that going through what I've gone through, or maybe in the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
And just stay connected to your body, you know. Just stay connected, pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Because you know when something is wrong, you know, and don't throw it off for the next day. Just say, you know, go get it checked out right then. Don't wait. Because you got to take care of yourself, because you know how you feel.
Yeah.
And you know when things are different.
Definitely. Sabrina, you are saving someone's life. They now know that they are not going through this alone. Thank you so much for sharing your story, words, and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Toby. You know me from Sister Act 2, Mr. Oh Happy Day, and the hit R&B group City High. I'm welcoming everybody to join and tune into the Michael Finkley Show on YouTube and also on the Greater Works Network on Roku TV. Don't forget to subscribe.
On the next Michael Finkley,
Shawnee Scott and Chaz Jackson are with us.
Next Finkley,
Friday.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. What did you learn today? I know that I learned a lot about women and their complications of being pregnant. I learned about their struggle, their survival skills, their determination, their dedication to what they really want to achieve, and within having a family of their own. So I learned a lot. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Sabrina, for telling your stories, having the courage to tell your stories, to motivate and inspire, and to inform other women that are out there as well, going through the same thing that you're going through. Thank you so much for telling your story. We really appreciate you here on the Michael Finkley Show. On Fridays, Finkley, we have Shani Scott with us and also Chaz Jackson, two persons with, again, incredible stories. So Fridays, Finkley, you don't want to miss. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show. Ring that bell for notification. We'll send you an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Please listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also, too, for up-to-date information, please visit our website at michaelfinkleyshow.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on Friday. Have a good one.